Hey everyone, I apologize for the lighting. It is better in the actual tutorial that's coming up soon. I know you've been asking for this one for like 5 years, so here it finally is. Lining up with the release of Dying Light 2, except not really because it's like a week late. But yeah, so how I've structured this video is, if you're only here for the tabs, you can just hit the timestamps that I have down below. I'll put them in the comments and the description. So if you're only here for the tabs, just hit those and timestamps, and then it'll pop up. And I also did a cover of this like 5 years ago. I just redid it last week, so you can check that out. The tabs are based off of my cover, but I keep my covers accurate to the original track anyways, so you'll be able to play the original track fine. Like, there's really no difference between my cover and that one. Also, if anything is unclear, please leave a comment down below. I will answer it. I say this because it's been a while since I've taught anything, and so I just don't know if I made things clear enough. So yeah, just any questions about how to play this thing, just leave a comment. I will reply to it, because I want you guys to actually like learn how to play this right. So, you know, anything you find confusing, just again, let me know. And the last thing is, I've been streaming Dying Light 2 on Twitch. I did a couple of streams on this channel, but I'm gonna be moving that over to Twitch probably. We've been having a really fun time. Chat's been loving the game and the streams. I've been loving the game and the streams as well. So yeah, if you want to have a good time, I'll link my Twitch below. If that goes well, I might just stream more games on there, because this channel is, I mean, I do lots of things, but 80% of my content is video game music, so it's only fitting that I should stream games as well, or at least try to, you know, see how people like it. And so far they've been liking it a lot, so that's good. So yeah, here's the tutorial. Hope you enjoy, and again, please let me know if anything's unclear. Thanks. Alright, I'm also not using my pop filter for this, because if I bring it up here, it's gonna obstruct the fretboard. So first things first, this is played in standard tuning, at least the way I play it. I use a capo on the 3rd fret. You can try doing it without it. There's one part though, and you'll know which one, that I don't think is really possible without it. The opening riff, let's call it. So those 4 notes, this is all in the A string. And you're gonna go 6, 8, 5, and then open, or 3. So super simple. And then the other little melody that comes along with it is, which is on the B string, and for that you'll be going 9, 8, sorry, you'll be going 11, 8, 9, 6, 8 on the B string. So that's 11, then the 8, then the 9, and then the 6, 8. Cool. And then the next part, which is, I guess, the main melody, right? So that's on the G, B, and high E string. And how that little melody starts off is, on the B string, you'll be going 9, 8, and then you'll be going to 5 on the G string. So, and it sounds kind of cool if you palm mute it, or at least palm mute those first. If you palm mute every note on the B and E string, instead of just playing them openly. So you can experiment with that. It sounds kind of cool. It sounds a bit closer to what's in the actual recording of what's in the actual track. So 9, 8, and then 5 on the G. 9, 8 on the B, then 5 on the G. Then the next little phrase is 6 on the high E, and then 8 on the B, and then 5 on the G again. So altogether, and then you're going back to the high E with the 8th fret, and then the 8th fret on the B again. So in total, and then the 5 on the G again. You're basically always coming back to that 5 after playing those 2 notes, whatever they are, except for the last loop. So altogether, then you're gonna go back to the 9, 8 on the B, and then 5 on the G again. So you do that little loop that we just learned. So 9, 8 on the B, 5 on the G, 6 on the high E, 8 on the B, 5 on the G, 8 on the high E, 8 on the B, 5 on the G, and then back to the... So... Alright, I went a bit ahead, but... And then as you probably guessed, we're going back to the high E6, and then the B8, and then the 5 on the G. So that's what we have in total. And then for the last little phrase, we're going 8 on the high E again. But instead of going, we're doing, so we're going 8 on the high E, as I said, 9 on the B, and then 8 on the B as well. So that's where it actually starts to loop, right? Like those, the 9 and 8 on the B is actually the start of the next loop. So if I was to play it without looping it, just a little tip, when you're playing this, on the last high E note, or on the last note, is the 8 on the high E, right? So that's your last note. I play that with my pinky, usually, but on that last note, because you need to come back to 9 on the B, I actually play that with my my ring finger. So usually I play with my pinky, right? Like... But I play with my ring on that last note because you need that kind of pinky to go on the 9, unless you want to slide or something, but I just recommend going with your ring on the 8 there for the end. Then the next part is basically just the intro again, but you're doing it on the G string, 1 octave up, and it's up to you if you want to palm mute it or not. I think it sounds cool if it does, if you do it, so... And that's on the G string, like I said, you're going 8, up to 10, down to 7, and then 5. 8, 10, 7, 5 on the G. And then the chord progression, that's kind of, well, there's no progression, I guess, but then the chords behind that are just the C, so the open A string here, technically, right? And then that little phrase that creeps in at the end before the loop is on the B string. What is it? 11, 8, 9. So that's basically how you play the first half. So far we have the opening riff, right? We have that little phrase at the end of the intro, or in the middle of it. Then we have that main melody. And then we just learned and also on the B string, that little phrase again, 11, 8, 9. All right, so for the next part, this is what the basic progression is. So what I'm doing is I'm playing that A string open, but with the octave on the G string, so the 5th fret on the G string here, right? We're moving that same octave shape up to the 5th fret on the A string. So 5 on the A, 7 on the G. Move it up one more fret, 6 on the A, 8 on the G. And then back down. So and then the sort of like bass notes that are under it are a bit different. If you want to play those, you'll have to get rid of your capo on the 3rd. Play the 3rd fret on the A. Play that, just play a power chord on the 3rd fret for the E string. Move that power chord up 1 fret. And then play the 1st fret on the E string and then the 5th fret on the A string. So and then maybe you combine that with the G string if you can. Now this next part, it's that synthy kind of thing that's going on, and this is the one that I think you'll need the capo on the 3rd fret for. This is playing during that section that I just showed you and the section that plays after. I've combed over through this specific part many times, and what I show you might not seem like what's being played, but trust me, it is. In the actual track, there's a ton of like effects and like synthy stuff going on and delay, so it may sound like what I'm teaching you is not what's being played there, but trust me, you can like listen to it yourself. This is what's being played. It's just hard to make out some of these notes because of all the effects that are going on in the actual track. So to start it off, you're basically always gonna be coming back to the open A here and then doing like the little notes in between on the D string this time, right? So to start it off, we're on the D string. We're going 8, 10, 8. And again, you can mess with the palm muting. 8, 10, 8, open A. And then we're going 5, 6, 10 on the D, so it's a bit of a stretch. Open A. So all together. Next section, we're going on the D string 6, 8, 10. So all together. Then we're going 8, 10. Open A. 8, 10 again. So all together. So, sorry, it's 5, 6, 10, 6, 8, 10, and then 8, 10, open A, 8, 10, open A, so. Then it's open A again, and then 10 on the D. And you're going to be doing that twice, actually, so. And then 8, 10 after that as well. Basically that little phrase there is open A 10, open A 10, open A 7, 8. So all together. So that, yeah, sorry, I didn't do a good job of explaining that. So that part is basically 8, 10, 8, 10, open A, 8, 10, open A, 10 open A, 10 open A, 8, 10 open A. So all together once again. Then from there you're going back to 5, 6, 10 on the D. And then 6, 8, 10 on the D. You're hitting the open A in between these, by the way, if that wasn't clear. So 6, 5, 10, open A, 6, 8, 10 on the D, and then open A. You're basically doing the same thing, except you're only hitting 8, 10 once. You're only doing this once, but you're hitting the 10 on the D like 3 times. So with the open A in between. So, and then you're hitting 8, 10 at the end of that too. So all together. Then after that, you're going 6, 8, 10 on the D again. And then after you hit the open A, you're going, this next little phrase is a bit different because you're not hitting the open A in between this time. You're going 8, 10, 5 twice. So then you're going 10, 6, 5, 10 again. And then you're hitting the open A. So it's 8, 10, 5, 8, 10, 5, 10, 6, 5, 10, open A. And then you're going 6, 5, 10 on the D. And then 6, 8, 10 on the D again. And you're hitting the open A in between. So all together. And then you basically know all the riffs from this point to finish it. So we go back to that other melody, right? The only thing that's different is this last little like chord progression here. So you're going open A with the octave on the G here. So 5, 6. Instead of going back down to 5, they'll go up to 8 now. So and same for that lower harmony. It's going to be 3 on the, or it's going to be the open A, the open E. So I guess, yeah, the 3rd fret on the E, 4th fret on the E, and then you're, instead of going back down, you're going to go to the 6th fret. So yeah, that's basically it. If you have any questions about anything I played, leave it in the comments. I will reply to it. I know it's been a while since I've explained or like taught anything, so I might not be on my A game. I'll be leaving tabs in the video as well. So yeah, hopefully you'll follow along, but just send a comment. If you can't, I'll make sure to reply to that. Thank you.